Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Tuesday to you. Second day of the week. I hope you've had a good one. And welcome back. If it's your first time, just welcome. I hope you enjoy the content. And if indeed you do, please like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. So my daily Bitcoin price action analysis. Pretty interesting. How many hours? Not 24 hours yet. 8 hours. This is a daily chart. So 8 hours left of the day. So pretty interesting. 16 hours have passed in this daily candle, and it looks rather red. Now, I think my daily range is still holding because it depends on the closure of this daily candle. But what I did say was that a daily closure below, basically somewhere between 67.5 and 67 would likely see Bitcoin move down a further couple of $1,000 to around the sort of 64.5 mark, between 64 and 65, and then likely a bounce. And if it did that, that would to me be a change in trend from this current uptrend to the early etchings of a downtrend. And in the context of that, you would then, particularly with closure back into the bottom half of this range on a daily, so maybe by the end of the week, if this downside continues, it's all very contingent on this downside continuing, then yeah, maybe Bitcoin will indeed revisit. Maybe Bitcoin will revisit sort of the mid-low 60s territory. But I don't think that's relevant for today or tomorrow based on the current volatility, although you just never know with the mighty Bitcoin. So yeah, I think downside, unless Bitcoin rallies for the rest of the day in the next 8.5 hours, I think more downside is likely first. Momentum on the overall on the daily is still to the upside, although you can see it is now turning down towards that zero line, but still above the 4 hour. If we check in on that quickly, you can see has thoroughly turned back down, and some momentum on the 4 hours definitely to the downside. And the longer that continues, then it's more likely that the daily will also cross the zero line, and therefore momentum will slip to the downside. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but my opinion is just exactly that, and we're all welcome to our opinions. What the price action does is a significant thing, and yeah, the price action is making me lean slightly short-term bearish, although contingent on this daily closure, as I've just said, but only short-term bearish. If I switch the weekly chart, so weekly chart on Bybit here, if you were to look at this last move, right? Or not you, I mean, you're looking, but I am going to look at this last move. So let's say it moved up, moved down. Sorry for the squiggly lines, but I think you know what I mean. Moved up, moved down, moved up. Whoa! Keep overshooting with my squiggly line. I feel bad. Let's do it a different way. Let's do it in a different way. I will do it in the form of... just talk amongst yourselves, won't be too long. I will do it in the form of an Elliott wave formation. So I'm not picking out the bottom, just sort of starting randomly here. So move up to there, move down, right? That was a pullback that I showed on the Fibonacci retracement that I did a couple of videos ago. And then the next move up to the current all-time high, just about beating the previous one. And then there's another move to here. Now, the next move you could argue is sort of still in evolution. But if there's a significant weekly pullback, and I would suggest that would be a weekly closure below the midpoint of this range. So that's significant, a weekly closure below roughly 64, but that's not an absolute number. Then what that would do is create, in my opinion, a lower weekly high, which Bitcoin hasn't had really. It hasn't obviously had a lower high for this whole bull run. I don't even think you could argue that there's even one that's... I mean, this was... I don't know, no. I mean, the wick highs here were higher than that wick there. So, yeah, I don't see a lower high on the weekly in the bull run so far on Bybit. I just don't see it. However, if this, and I'll just use this one now. So if there was a weekly closure, kind of in the vicinity of that circle, so, and the number just happens to be sort of 60,000, that to me would make this a weekly lower high. Now, that in itself is not a trend, i.e. that in itself is not a downtrend. For it to become a downtrend, of course, you would need further weekly closures below this current one. But what that would suggest to me is that even the weekly momentum is such that a prolonged period of sideways range-bound price action is more likely. Now, I almost lost myself in there somewhere, so I hope I didn't lose you guys and you kind of are with me on that one. To be honest, there's a lot of hypothesizing there, and that may not be the case anyway. I don't think that that's likely to be the case this week. I think it's unlikely this weekly candle will close below the midline, but I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows, because no one can predict the future. Just have a quick look at the 4 hour before I leave you be. By the way, I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. Did I already say that? If not, there we are. Yeah, so the 4 hour, it's a fairly impulsive move. The reason that this blue line is here rather than here is that's the contingent daily closure line. But the 4 hour support is indeed around where the price is at the moment. So a bounce from there would not surprise me. Potentially with just I mean, it might just bust on through, but maybe, tomorrow, that sort of thing. That would not surprise me. But I do think if Bitcoin does, as I said at the beginning, close the daily below this line, it's not a line, as I keep saying, but roughly below 67,000, 67.5, then more downside first. Which you may be enjoying, or you may not, but it is what it is. That's the most useless phrase ever invented but it kind of works in many, many situations. All right, that's 10 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed the price action. Ooh, screen just went off. I think that's TradingView having a bit of a moment. And if you have, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't, don't come back tomorrow because I'll be doing it again for the midweek Wednesday Bitcoin price action. All right, take care. See you soon.